All right, everyone, welcome back to Offset Conversations. Today's question is brought to you by EGB18 on YouTube. You change your username. Anyways, thank you, EGB18. Your question has to do with minimalism and internal life. Now, I'm only 28 years old, so I don't claim to know everything about life or anything, but I'm just going to be throwing some of the tips that have worked for me and introducing you guys to the way I interpret minimalist and minimalism life. Now, this is my living room. There's more to it. Yes, currently in a funky living work situation, so don't think that I'm not like super minimalist. If I was to put the camera over there, you would see a whole bunch of mess and a whole bunch of candy. So to me, minimalist, I was introduced to it a couple years back. I like to listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of motivational things. And so one of the things on YouTube was TED Talks. And so a TED Talk came about when the minimalist, these two guys that were walking around, spraying what minimalist is. And so the best way I guess I could explain to you how I interpret minimalist is just making room for more meaningful things and experiences. So what do I mean by that? I think here, especially in the United States, we have the ability, we live in a most amazing country in the world, and so we have a lot of privileges. And so one of them is maybe having a very good paying job that allows you to spend more money on material things. And so one of the things that I wanted to get rid of were material stuff. I started with clothes. Now, I'm not a big kind of clothes to begin with kind of person, so that was very easy. And to this day, I'm still getting rid of clothes, just minimizing. The closet is full of clothes that we don't wear, and it's been 3 to 6 months. And when it's time to get rid of things, that's how I kind of started. With other aspects in my life would be, I guess, car parts. Parts that I wasn't using that are just taking up space in my garage, I kind of slowly started cleaning and just making it look a little bit more cohesive and clean, for that matter. It's easier also to clean. Another thing that the way the minimalists, those two guys, one of their quotes say, minimalism is get rid of things to make room for things that really matter that happen to not be things. So I know that's very confusing, and maybe I'm butchering and I'm saying it wrong, but in essence what it means is, I'll give you just a quick example. Whether you want to admit it or not, I think some of us we compare ourselves with some other people. Not saying that you're bad for doing that, but I think it's just natural. Especially when we have social media, we tend to see the things that other people are doing, and so it kind of catches us by surprise, whether we think about it or we don't think about it, that man, they're out there enjoying the vacations. Oh man, they just got new car parts. Oh man, so whatever the case may be. And so you just understand that whatever's appropriate for you. For me, I've definitely been working on myself for the last year and a half to just have more meaningful conversations, to slow down, to stop thinking so much about material things. And it's a constant battle. It's a constant conversation that I'm having with myself when I see, car parts being sold on Facebook or on Instagram, and I'm like, man, do I have the money? Of course I do have the money, but is that my immediate goal at the moment, or is that going to give me that immediate gratification, and then 2 weeks from now I'm going to want something else? I don't know if you've ever been in that situation where you're saying to yourself, man, if I could only just get this, whatever that is, I'll be happy. And maybe it happens, but then a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, now you want something else. And it always, for the most part, has to do something with a material thing or some type of material necessity or a want. I've been now focusing a little bit more on not only decluttering my life with the physical space, which is clothes, car parts, whatever the case may be, but at the same time now focusing on the things that really matter to me, like having conversations. Hence why that's one of the reasons, and we'll get into another different conversation about why I started the YouTube channel. But in essence, nowadays, one of the very fantastic things that I wake up, especially on the weekends when I do these interviews, is getting to know the person. And for those who have I've interviewed, you guys understand that the video is not 10 minutes. Sometimes we hang out for about an hour to 2 hours, 3 hours, having conversations about anything and everything. And so one of the things that I definitely have tried to practice is when I'm engaging with somebody is to come from the most open-minded point that I can be, because if I don't, I don't think I'm being fair to the other person, and I'm not being fair to myself, and having that open conversation. I think right now at this very moment, if you disagree with something I say, you immediately shut down the other person, and kind of like you can't continue with the conversation. I think part of me growing as a person is now I'm not the first one to say, oh, let me get that OT because I want to get X, Y, or Z. I'd rather be at home. I'd rather be, I'm not a big reader, so I like to just listen to audibles. Like I said, those self-motivating podcasts and things like that. And so when I listen to some of those, I'll give you guys an example. Joe Rogan, I just kind of started listening to him not that long ago, and he comes from a very open-minded situation. Maybe you like him, maybe you dislike him, but just from some of the interviews I've heard from him, he definitely takes the time to ask questions and to not be rude, but really play devil's advocate per se. And so some of the conversations I've had with a few of you guys, sometimes, I am honest, like, well, yeah, I don't agree with that necessarily, but what does that mean to you? One of the very first ones that I can think of is having conversation with Clint with the Repsol S2000. He loves guns, and to me, I don't know, they just don't excite me per se. Doesn't mean that you can't own guns. Yeah, if you want to have guns, go for it. Yeah, that's your hobby, that's your thing. They're beautiful pieces of art. Go for it. But I think maybe 2-3 years ago, that conversation would have been like, nah, I don't want to even engage in that conversation. That's just more about me. And so throughout this minimalist journey, I've been able to just kind of focus on myself, to learn how to listen, because I do like to, talk a lot. And so just kind of understand where they're coming from, be more respectful in my own house. It's very difficult, but constantly telling myself, okay, you use this thing, put it back where it belongs, things like that. And so just kind of minimizing my wardrobe has helped a lot, because then I have less clothes to wash and less decisions to make about just something so simple as what am I going to dress. All of that combined, and that's a lot, has put me in a situation where I really feel much better about my life. Now, it's a constant process. This doesn't mean that I have it all in lockdown. That's not what it means. And it doesn't mean that if you're holding on to things, whether it be material things, car parts, or whatever the case may be, it doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It just, this is what's been working for me. So when it comes to this whole journey of minimalist, I think I focus now, instead of going for the big bucks, financial or material rewards, now I'm kind of taking my sweet time and really just focusing on the things that really matter to me when it comes to family stuff and non-family stuff. And so to me, the channel is a huge part of it, not because of the numbers of the channel, but because of the experiences that I've been getting way more experiences than those videos will ever show. And I'm able to comment and talk to some of you guys on a daily from a video that we did 7-8 months ago. But that's because we enjoyed our conversation so much that you're still having conversation with me, and you were referring me to somebody else. And so again, that comes from a lot of listening from books, self-motivating books, podcasts, things like that. And it all kind of started from that minimalist kind of reevaluate your life. Why are you in a rush? Take your time to smell the roses kind of thing. If you're constantly thinking about money, I think it comes to a point where money can only get you so far. I think it's a wonderful tool, but you're losing time and attention. And so if you're trading money for time and attention, I'm sorry, but I don't think that a dollar will ever be as fulfilling as the time that you spend with people. Now, we all have our financial challenges and things like that. And so brings me to my last point, what a minimalist has done for me and my wife, which is budgeting. Part of not working as much, or I guess not taking that OT or whatever the case may be, we require money to have fun, to pay bills, to survive, right? So one of the biggest things that we have definitely done for ourselves is to budget. And that way we know that we know where our money is going. We know that if we're trying to go to a vacation, or we're trying to buy a car part, or we're trying to buy whatever the case may be, it's not going to follow us to the next month, and credit card and things like that. So avoiding that. And so that's another different topic, but just kind of want to touch bases on what minimalist is to me. Just kind of find a way to declutter my life from material things, and really just focus on time and attention on meaningful things that really bring me joy, like listening to motivational speakers, a little bit of audible reading, video games, meeting you guys at the interviews, and car meets. So like I said, thank you. Let me know if you ever heard of minimalism. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Do you think it's a waste of time? Whatever. How do you find fulfillment? What is the thing that you're doing right now that is giving you the most joy? Let us know in the comment section, so that way some of us can learn about different techniques. So like I always say, we always go for the car and we stay for the person. So thank you guys so much for the support, and thank you guys for just being super positive in the comment section. I really, really appreciate it.